Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. Welcome back to my playthrough Brothers in Arms, Road to Hill 30. So on this part, we are doing the final mission in the game. I hope that you guys enjoyed this series, but anyways, before we do it, let's take a look at these here. 17 Panzer Grenadiers, Colonel Antel briefing. These guys from the Waffen SS.
The Waffen SS Panzer Grenadiers were some of Germany's toughest soldiers and could be counted on to have more equipment, ammunition, anti-tank weapons, and overall firepower than any other infantry force in the German army.
About these guys is, if you notice that the SS here, they are actually wearing oak pattern camo. Oftentimes, Germans that actually wore this camouflage were actually SS. There was actually a few variants of this camouflage. There's also a more brown version of this camouflage too. But yes, it's typically the soldiers that wore the oak pattern were SS. But one thing that the game gets wrong here is that these guys would oftentimes wear the lightning bolt SS colors right here. I guess maybe they didn't want to put that in for controversial reasons. This guy also would be carrying an MP40 because you can see the MP40 packs on him here.
The Panzer Grenadiers, which stands for Mechanized Infantry, were heavy infantry designed to fight in and around their armored half-tracks.
Also about these guys is that the SS, these guys were the guys who oftentimes got some pretty elite weapons. For example, the STG-44, the Sturmgewehr 44, the SS oftentimes had it.
Their purpose was to support and enable the fast-moving tanks and to keep the tank attack rolling along. The Germans believed in the concept of combined arms, using infantry, tanks, artillery, and aircraft together to overmatch the enemy in mobility and firepower.
That's what Blitzkrieg is. That's the German strategy on how the Germans had managed to conquer most of Europe. What Blitzkrieg basically is that the Germans will send in planes and artillery and they will bomb an area. They will bomb an area a lot, and then what they will do is after the area is bombed, after the bombing stops, they don't even give the defenders a chance to defend themselves for a moment. They will actually send the armor in. They will send in the tanks, the half-tracks behind it, and the troops behind it, and just overwhelming them. So basically bomb them, and then send in the tanks and the half-tracks and the troops right behind them and overwhelm them. That's actually how Germany had actually conquered Poland so quickly in September 1939. It was also because Poland was a lot of fields. And for France... Germany did this exact same tactic in France, but here's the thing about France that a lot of times people don't tell you, is people tell you that the Maginot Line, that it was actually a failure. But what France basically did was, France built this giant wall on the German border. And this giant wall, it was a fortification of walls, barbed wire, landmines, a bunkers system. And people say that this wall failed to stop Germany, but here's what people aren't telling you. The Maginot Line was actually pretty successful. Wherever the Germans actually tried to attack through the Maginot Line, it actually suffered pretty high casualties. So how did Germany actually manage to overrun France? The reason that they overran France was because they actually went through Belgium. They invaded through Belgium, and France actually did not have that wall with Belgium because they didn't have a problem with Belgium. And so Germany basically steamrolled through Belgium and then went into France and then steamrolled through there. That is basically how they gotten through France. That was basically what was stupid about the Maginot Line, is if you're going to build this giant, wall that's protecting your country, you got to build it all around, everywhere. But one of the reasons that France didn't build the Maginot Line with Belgium is because they didn't want to offend the Belgian government. But that was basically it, is that they did not secure that part, and then Germany basically went through there, and then they flanked the French soldiers, they got around the wall, and that is basically how they managed to conquer France so quickly because of that. And also, the thing about this is it also shows you how stupid French generals were. The French generals were really, really stupid, because in World War I, that's how Germany invaded France. They went through Belgium, and then they invaded France. That is how they attacked France. And then in World War II, the French generals were not expecting them to do the same thing again. I don't know how the generals weren't expecting that, but the average French soldiers were good. They were good soldiers, and France actually had a pretty elite army at the time. When France actually declared war on Germany, a lot of German generals thought that it was over at that point in 1939 when France declared war, along with Britain. And France actually pushed into Germany in I think it was the Saar War, that is what it was called. It was in September 1939, they pushed about 8 to 10 miles into Germany, and when they actually pushed into Germany, they suffered almost no resistance. They almost met nothing. They captured entire German towns. French army did this in September 1939, and they weren't encountering any resistance, and it's because the entire German army was in Poland at that time. If they had actually been pushing, and they kept pushing into Germany, they could have possibly even reached Berlin. Alfred Jodl, one of the top, Wehrmacht generals at the time, in 1945, when Germany actually surrendered, he said if France actually kept pushing, they could have possibly reached Berlin, because we were not expecting the French to attack us. They were expecting the French not to do anything, but then the French actually pulled out. The generals pulled out after going basically 8 to 10 miles, and then they sent Germany a diplomatic message saying we don't want problems. And then, you see what happens in May 1940. In April 1940, Germany takes Norway, they take Denmark, and then in May 1940, they take France. So France pulling out of Germany in September 1939 is one of the worst tactical mistakes they could have made.
The Waffen SS Panzer Grenadiers were some of Germany's toughest soldiers and could be counted on to have more equipment, ammunition, anti-tank weapons, and overall firepower than any other infantry force in the German army. And
last thing I'll say about the SS here is that these guys in the SS, these guys are ruthless. These are basically the most evil soldiers in the German army. These are the guys who committed the most amount of war crimes. The SS, they were the guys who were the most fanatical to the Nazi regime. They ran the concentration camps. These guys were actually the most likely to fight to the death. If you encountered an SS unit in combat, they were the most likely to fight to the death. If they were fighting the Americans, some of them might surrender. Some of them might. It's rare, but some of them might. Especially if the war was ending. If it was like the last few weeks of Germany in 1945, some of them might surrender. But if they were actually fighting the Soviets, they would not surrender. They would almost always fight to the very last man if they were fighting the Soviets. The SS particularly, they really hated Slavs. They really hated Eastern Europeans, and they refused any kind of surrender to the Soviets. They also believed that the Soviets would kill them if they instantly surrendered. Rebuilding Carentan, 1944. An aerial reconnaissance photo of the industrial section of Carentan was used to lay out the mission area for push into Carentan. A 1944 high-angle shot of the area helped Gerboxe position each building and alley correctly. A screenshot from push into Carentan. The house circle in the 1944 photo and in-game screenshot matches the house photographed by Gerboxe in Carentan 60 years later. That is really cool that they put in all this attention to detail in this. Every building and street was surveyed for recreation. Try to match this house in the game and the historical photographs. Abandoned today, this Carentan warehouse survived the war. You can see the U-shaped warehouse in the historical photos and in the game. So the warehouse itself was also real. That's crazy. The Panzer Mark IV tank. Oh, yep.
This is the German Panzer IV, or Panzerkampfwagen IV, as the Germans called them. The Panzer IV was the workhorse of the German Tank Corps. Tanks like this were used by the Germans in the counterattack on Carentan to destroy American tanks and to support the German infantry assault. The Panzer IV had a high-velocity 75mm cannon, which can penetrate the Sherman's armor at long range. The Panzer IV had thicker frontal armor than the American M4 Sherman tank, so it was best to attack the Panzer IV in the rear or on the sides.
Thicker frontal armor than the American M4 Sherman tank. And the thing about this is that people oftentimes look at stuff like this and they say, oh, the German tanks were better than the American tanks. But what they're not factoring in is that the Americans had basically produced like 20 or 30 tanks for every German tank. And the Shermans were much more simple and easier to maintain. The Shermans also had an escape hatch in the bottom.
Stay away from the Panzer IVs unless you have both tanks and infantry to attack them. This is the German...
Okay, let's take a look at this here. City fighting in 1944. City fighting in 1944 was focused on squad-to-squad combat. In this U.S. Army photo, an American assault team charges a German-occupied house in Normandy. In the city fight, any debris can be used as protective cover. This American rifleman aims his M1 Garand from an improvised position. An American paratrooper rushed to the doors of the church at St. Mare Eglise on D-Day. Church towers were an ideal sniper's perch for both armies. An American infantry squad used a Sherman tank as mobile cover. The technique of combined arms between the infantry and armor was honed in Normandy. Yeah, and armor, basically how it is armor is supposed to engage other armor and also clear out enemies out of fortifications, bunkers, buildings, use high explosive, clear them out. But the infantry's job would be to protect the tanks also. The tanks are very vulnerable on the side, protect them from any AT troops, and also push up with the tanks. Fire and move in action. Members of the squad put covering fire into a German sniper position down the French street. Another soldier crosses the road. So what they're basically doing right here is they're using covering fire and suppression. Is that, I'm assuming the German sniper would be somewhere over there, but what basically would be the effect of this is that one soldier would start firing the position where the German sniper is. The German sniper would be surprised by that and would start getting suppressed. If you have bullets coming right next to you, like flying next to you, hitting the walls next to you, it makes it harder to focus, makes it harder to concentrate on the enemy. And while this soldier is suppressing the sniper, firing at the sniper, this guy actually is crossing the road, running across, probably trying to flank, get around him. And there's probably multiple guys doing this. So there's one guy shooting at the sniper, another guy shooting at the sniper, and if the sniper has basically like this situation, like two guys shooting at him, the sniper is not gonna have enough time to drop this guy who's crossing the street. He's gonna be focusing on these two guys shooting at him. So that's basically what it is. If you watch Band of Brothers, in Band of Brothers there's a scene in the Battle of the Bulge where there's actually a German sniper and he's like in this little barn house, and what happens is one American soldier actually runs across the street to draw out the sniper, and while he's running across the street to draw out the sniper, another one aims at him to see if he pops out, and he pops out, and he drops him. Moments later, the assault team moves in for the kill, firing from the hip. Okay, so they surrounded the sniper. A Normandy town cleared of enemy can be used by the paratroopers as a command post, marshalling area as a waypoint to the next fight. 1944 aerial reconnaissance photo, Carentan. Aerial reconnaissance photograph of the cathedral and surrounding area in Carentan. This photo was taken shortly before the invasion. So this is the cathedral that you were on in the sniper mission. The Springfield 1903. This is going to be interesting.
This is the U.S. .30 caliber M1903 Springfield rifle.
Also, about the Springfield, I have a Springfield 1903, but I don't have the sniper variant. The sniper variants were actually, were a little bit differently designed. And also, about the rifles, the American rifles, I think the Springfield had this, where, the Springfield, I believe, had 3 grooves in the barrel. Correct me if I'm wrong, because what rifling does is there's grooves in the barrel, so when the bullet actually goes through the barrel, it's not, hitting the edges of it. It's instead spinning, and that's what actually makes the bullet pretty accurate when it leaves the barrel. I think that a lot of the rifles later on had 2 grooves instead of 3 grooves. And there was this was basically to maximize production, to get the rifles out quicker. And there was a common fear among U.S. troops that the rifles with the 2 grooves instead of the 3 grooves were actually less accurate than the 3 grooves rifle. But I don't think that that's really true for the most part. Correct me if I'm wrong. The only time I think you would see maybe some accuracy issues if you're shooting like very far, like hundreds of meters. But if you're shooting close to medium engagements, I don't think the 2 grooves are really going to make that much of a difference. And also about the Springfield 1903 here, about it, is the Springfield 03 fires 30-06, which is the same cartridge as the M1 Garand fires also. But here's the thing, the Springfield 1903 actually came out before the 30-06, so you're probably wondering, how did the rifle come out before the cartridge was developed for it? It's because the Springfield 1903, the first version of it, actually did not fire a 30-06. It actually fired this other strange cartridge. I'll actually have it on the screen right now if you guys want to take a look at that. I forget the name of it, so I'll just have it up on the screen. But it did fire a different cartridge before the 30-06. And the American scope, the American Springfield scope, I think it was only 3 or 4 magnification, which is what magnification basically is. If it's 3 magnification, it means you can see 3 times more than the regular human eye.
The M1903 series rifles were originally issued to American soldiers during World War I, but the rifle saw service in World War II, the Korean War, and even the Vietnam War as a sniper rifle.
That's true. This was our standard issue rifle in World War I. The Springfield had an experimental version where you could actually take out the barrel and you could actually replace it with 30 caliber rounds. It would actually become semi-automatic. I know that's in Battlefield 1, but that actually was like a real experimental thing that we tried to do in World War 1, but after World War 1, we never really used it. And also, correct me if I'm wrong on this, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that American snipers were actually called snipers in World War II. I think they were actually called recon or sharpshooters. I think that's what they were called specifically.
The M1903 rifle is a manually operated, rotating bolt, internal magazine fed rifle.
What internal magazine basically means is that the magazine is not detachable. It means you cannot remove the magazine. The gun still has a magazine, you just can't really remove it. But it's a bolt-action rifle. Basically, 5 rounds into the gun. So 5, you're gonna have to single load it also. Also, the Springfield, just like most other sniper rifles, the Scope Car 98 also cannot be loaded through stripper clips. So most World War II sniper rifles, the scope was actually right on top of the a bolt, and because of that, what happened was you could actually not load it with stripper clips. There was no way to put the stripper clip in, so you had to single load it. You had to put in each round individually into the gun. One of the only rifles that I know that you can actually load it with stripper clips that's a sniper rifle, the Japanese Arasaka. The Japanese Arasaka scope, the scope was actually on the side of the rifle, on the left side, and because of that, you could actually load the gun with stripper clips. But yeah, you basically had to load the gun with you had to load the gun specifically through a single loading. And a bolt-action rifle, basically what that is that when you pull the trigger, the firing pin is actually right here in the bolt. Firing pin actually strikes the primer in the bullet, and what happens is that ignites the gunpowder. The gunpowder explodes. All the rapidly expanding gases in the bullet cause the bullet to basically go out. Gun goes off, bullet goes out through here, and then basically what you do is you basically just turn the bolt, and what that does is it cycles out the ejected casing and cycles in the next round. That's basically the how a bolt-action rifle works. But bolt-action rifles are some of the most reliable rifles even today. Like, bolt-action rifles have the least amounts of chance of jamming, especially compared to semi-automatic and automatic rifles. And the reason for that is because it's manually operated. You're using your own hand to eject a round.
The Springfield has an overall length of 43.5 inches and weighs 9 pounds. The M1903A4 was specifically modified for use as a sniper rifle with the addition of an M73 telescope.
Yeah, so it wasn't just any Springfield, it was a Springfield specifically designed to be a sniper rifle. And also, here's something that people don't know about the Springfield. The Springfield actually uses the Mauser action, the German Mauser action, so it actually uses the exact same action that's actually in a Car 98, the same exact bolt system. It even has the a very similar, exact same type of, let me see here, if we can find it here.
The Springfield, the M1903 rifle.
No, I don't see it here. It has the same. It has the same safety as the Car 98.
The M1903A4 was specifically modified for use as a sniper rifle with the addition of an M73 telescope.
The Mausers typically, their safety is located right here at the very back of the bolt, and it's basically like a little like switch. And basically, when you put the safety in the middle, the gun will not go off. So that's basically how Mauser safeties work. And the U.S. actually did get sued by Mauser during World War I for actually using the Mauser action in the Springfield.
In Brothers in Arms, there will be situations where you will want to arm yourself with a Springfield sniper rifle. This is the U.S. In Brothers in Arms, there will be situations.
Okay, so that's pretty much it right there. Let's do the final mission then. Let's see exactly what's going on. Hill 30. After 8 days in Normandy, Baker's most difficult test as a squad leader is imminent. Let's do it. This is the mission at the start of the game where Leggett dies.
My dad said something to me after the divorce. He said every soldier has 2 families. Those you raise, and those you raise hell with. I've spent 8 days here. 8 days commanding a squad I wasn't ready to lead. 8 days watching my men, my family, be killed. 8 days wishing it would stop.
No better spot to die.
Come on, Corian!
We got the Krauts on the run.
Mac's waiting on us. Let's go.
In a minute.
What the hell are you doing?
Picking a spot.
For what?
Okay, I'm ready.
Are you feeling okay there, Corian?
Never been better.
All right, this is it. We're airborne because we're the best of the best. No one stands in our way. No one. Let's move.
I think you stole your line there, Baker.
Red, head that way. Corian, move it.
Understood.
Let's move. Oh,
Contact!
shit! Red, attack them. Corian, hit them now. Stay with me!
Reloading! You heard the man!
Go over there!
Let's go!
Suppress those crowds!
Suppressive fire!
Corian, go!
Move your asses!
Man, this is rough right now.
Suppressing fire!
Another down!
Red!
Shoot them
Go,
all!
go, go! Corian! Face of fire! Over there!
Fire at the ground! Covering fire!
Red!
Take them out! Get down!
Red! Fire now!
Covering fire!
Corian! Move! Cover me!
Oh, okay.
Red! Fire on that position! Hurry up! Get over there!
Got it!
We gotta get around her!
Red one! Hearts off!
Face of fire!
There we go. Okay.
On the fire! Red! Unload on Corian! Fire!
Okay!
Corian! Move now!
Double down, boys! We gotta get around them!
Shift fire!
Suppressive fire! Here we go!
Red! Move to that position! Corian! Heavy fire! Right there!
Shoot them all! Covering fire!
Okay.
Pin down!
Red! Look at face of fire on that position! Corian! You're with me!
Here we go! Here we go!
You're taking fire!
Firing!
Assault that position!
Got him!
Perfect. Okay.
Get to
Great
that
flank.
cover.
Let's move!
Take him out! Hit him hard!
I can't shoot there, sir!
Covering fire!
Pin down!
Was that
Stay with me! Red!
heard the
Oh,
man.
Stay with
okay,
me!
that's all of them. Having lost Carentan, the Germans will counterattack with everything they have. The 101st is the only thing that can stop them.
Move out!
I got it!
I'm
My
on
little
it!
brother's never
We're
gonna
winning
believe
this.
this!
Keep it up!
Baker! Baker!
Baker, listen! It's just starting to heat up over here. We've seen some forces moving into position on the ridge there. This is definitely where the party is gonna happen. We're between a rock and the whole goddamn German army.
Oh yeah, this is where Leggett dies. Yeah, I remember this is the very first mission now.
Baker! You okay, Baker?
Get him on his feet! Keep firing!
Come on, man. Don't die. Hang in there.
Goddamn armor! He's gonna die! He's hell! We're all gonna die! Fucking radio!
Oh no.
You want me? Fucking take me! Take me! Baker! They're getting closer! Where's the fucking radio guy? He's dead! Baker, I know the armor's in the area. Somebody just has to find it. That somebody is you! Let's go!
Okay, so throughout the game you're doing everything with your squad, but on this part you're doing it by yourself now. Very different change of pace. Great. Find the Allied tanks that have driven in from Omaha Beach and use them to rout the German counterattack away from Hill 30. Oh, crap. There's a tank coming.
Die kommen von da.
Another Panzer. There's 3 tanks! Crap. How do I get around this now? Shermans, thank God! Help, help!
About time somebody showed up. I can't find F Company. It's a mess out there. We got all your radio relays, just couldn't find you guys. Hop on, Sergeant. Lead the way.
Okay. Use the Sherman tanks to assault German forces on Hill 30.
I need you over there! You're with me! Give me some armor over there! Heavy fire on that armor!
Come on, box the tank in. Now mess them up, yep. Oh, it's the tank's pulling back.
Sergeant, focus your fire!
There we go. German tank knocked out. Okay.
Park it over there!
Attack them! Go!
Okay, MG42 knocked out.
Move now! Move! I need some armor here! Set up there! Attack that son of a bitch!
Okay, flank him
Over
quick.
there, that way! Full speed!
Oh, this is gonna be a good flank now.
I need heavy fire on that tank!
German tank is boxed in, okay.
Go, go, go!
Yeah, there we go. Nice.
Stay with me! Roll, goddammit! Head that way! Come on, get over there!
We got the high ground here, which gives us an advantage too.
Face of fire on that armor!
Get the other tank up here now.
Roll! They got that tank!
Come, blow him up. Yeah! Third tank knocked out.
Bring it in! Come on, get over there! Give me some armor over there! Head that way! Hit that MD hard! that son of a bitch! Get that empty now!
HE, high explosive, that MG42. Come on, get a good HE shell in there and it's over.
Go fast! I need some armor here! I need you over there! I need some armor here! Fire! Press those bastards!
There we go.
All I'm saying is I wasn't scared.
Even when those 20 or so Krauts came charging across the field?
I wasn't really counting. Well, except the number of those bastards I dropped.
Lucky for them, you can't count very high.
Yeah, I was pretty fucking scared.
Hell of a thing we did today. Gotta wonder what waits for men like us when we get back home.
Chapter complete. Okay.
There's rumors coming down the pipe that the squad's gonna be split up after we leave Carentan. Hell, Corian even thinks we're going home. Wrong again, Sam. A few other guys have been talking about getting a farm or some land, some peace and quiet. God, not me. Last thing I want to do is live out my days alone after the shit I've seen. Well, it's not time for goodbyes yet. Not by a long shot.
Why in the hell did you bring back that busted piece of crap?
Not sure. Seemed like the right thing to do.
What are you gonna do? Bury it?
I might.
Knock off the chatter and fall in! Now, I'm not one for speeches, so I'll make this short. First, there's a Colonel Marshall here to interview some of you for General Eisenhower. Don't screw that up! Second, I've been in the Army a long time, and in some pretty good units. But in all that time, well, I just want to say you guys did good. We lost some good men, but at the same time, we sent a message to Hitler and his boys that we're coming for him, that his days are numbered. Now I've got a promotion to make. Sergeant Hartzog, front and center. Second squad needs a new leader, and the responsibility is now yours. So on these stripes, or I'll cite you for being out of uniform. Sergeant Baker! You know this isn't over, right? Hell of a thing we've been through these last 8 days. Welcome to the end of the beginning. Grab your gear, troopers! We've still got a war to fight!
3rd Squad, you heard the man. Move out.
Beyond Hill 30, oh. Okay, so that's it, I guess, there. Then, also, about Brothers in Arms, there's two other games I'm supposed to play. Earned in Blood, I think, is the other one, and then Hell's Highway. And Hell's Highway is the most brutal one out of all of them. It has a lot of gore. I know that, you know, people can basically get ripped apart in that. But yeah, this was a game that people recommended to me, and I had a lot of fun playing it, and I wanted to play like a World War II game on the anniversary of the Normandy landings, and a lot of you guys told me to play this game. I did enjoy it. This game is very different than like a lot of other games I played, like Call of Duty, for example, because in this one, in Call of Duty, you're basically a one-man army. In this game, you are leading your squad, and the only way to really complete your mission is to, you know, get your squad there in one piece. You gotta learn suppression, flanking, and the thing about this is that the game actually has you use the mouse wheel to aim down your sights instead of right-click, how like a lot of other games do it. And the reason for that is because they want you to use squad commands. They don't want you to basically go one-man army. But the developers did also a lot of research in this game for all the locations, and I love reading all the extras, and we're also going to read a few more of the extras also here. But a very, very difficult game. This game was not easy. I can't imagine what these guys went through during the Normandy campaign. And like Carentan, one of the most brutal battles of the Normandy campaign. Paratroopers are some of the toughest jobs ever because they land directly right behind enemy lines, so they can be surrounded. Beautiful music. These are all the loading screens that you saw in the game here that are right now up top. That's Baker at the end, the guy you play as. Well, that was it there. Let's take a look and see what we got here.
Baker! Baker, you okay? I think he's coming too.
He's fine. Get him on his feet. God damn it!
Fox 2, can you hear me? Can you fucking hear me? Fox 2, this is Fox 3. Answer me, damn it. Sarge, I can't get anyone.
Lega, keep trying. We need armor now. We're all dead.
Hello? Hello? Shit, is armor support now. I mean, right fucking now.
Keep shooting! Keep shooting! Don't let him break through!
This is when they were making the game.
Forget him, Jameson! He's gone! Get back on that machine gun! He's firing!
Come on, man, don't die. Hang in there.
Dang it, where's that goddamn armor?
He's gonna die. He needs help.
We're all gonna die if you don't get on that fucking radio!
No! God damn it! Jump, bastard!
Oh shit, they got armor! Let's get the hell out of here! No one fall back! Keep firing! Don't stop firing! Get down! This is gonna be bad!
You want me? You want me? Take me. Fucking take me. Take me.
Baker! Baker!
60 years later, Gearbox Hill 30. Paratroopers set up along the hedgerow line east of Hill 30 near Carentan. Beyond the hedgerow, the hill rises for a classic reverse slope defense. Almost 60 years later, Gearbox photographed his view through the hedge, looking up at the crest of Hill 30. The Germans advanced from the left, and the paratroopers hit them from their positions behind the hedgerow line as they crossed the crest of the hill. Colonel Antle describes a reverse slope defense at Hill 30 for a television documentary. The spire of the Carentan Cathedral can be seen on the skyline. Oh, there it is, yep. Gearbox artists stand on the railroad track bridge that marked the extreme north flank of the counterattack in Hill 30. The Brothers in Arms director Randy Pitchford and Colonel John Antle stand behind the hedgerow where the 502 PIR fought at Hill 30. The scariest thing is when you're getting surrounded, especially by armor, and you have no way of destroying the armor. That's what's so terrifying about that scene. Link up with the 2nd Armored Division.
On June 13th, 1944, the 101st Airborne Division held the vital town of Carentan, but just barely. To defend Carentan, the paratroopers needed to secure the high ground to the west. The German attack to recapture Carentan drove to within 500 yards of the edge of the town. The 2nd Battalion, 502nd Parachute Infantry, moved down to the 506 Parachute Infantry's right flank and helped to regain some of the lost ground. But the attack threatened the junction of the Utah and Omaha beachheads so seriously that the Americans decided to send tanks to repel the German counterattack. At 10:30 a.m., elements of Combat Command A, 2nd Armored Division, which had fought their way from Omaha Beach, arrived in Carentan. The coordinated efforts of the tanks, the infantry, and the artillery threw the Germans back and saved Carentan. This moment is recreated in the final climactic battle in Brothers in Arms. On June 13th, 1944.
And then what do we got here? Unlock the old movie cheat, activate from the in-game cheats menu, unlock infinite ammunition, unlock authentic difficulty level. Activate from the in-game cheats menu. Oh, it cheats here. Let's see. Old movie. What's that do, black and white?
In the plane, just before we jumped, I finally came to the conclusion that I had to swallow my fears, take charge and lead these men. It seems fate has a dark sense of humor. I'm a man with hell standing between me and my men. No matter. Not even hell will stop me.
I got word from another platoon that some of our boys dropped in this area. Crowd
Oh, yeah.
nice enough to flood it for us as a welcome.
This is what old movie does.
Sure as shit isn't
Black
gonna be
and
easy
white.
finding them out here. Unless, of course, they find us. Is that red?
This Kraut's all over. I think I saw a mortar team just back there.
Okay, guys. So, thank you guys for watching this series. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, as well as the history that I discussed on this. And this game and this playthrough is also dedicated to the, you know, brave soldiers who helped to liberate France during World War II. And I can't imagine the horrors that they had to go through. But they fought through hell and helped to defeat Nazi Germany in the end. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do drop a like. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.